Now, 10111 is a 24-hour number that the public can use to report crimes. The last thing anyone would want is for a call to go unanswered, yet this is exactly what's been happening, and it's all down to staff shortages at the call centres. Filling the vacant positions will take time, so what then of the thousands of South Africans whose calls for help are going unanswered? Let's discuss this with Mpho Kwinika, who's the General Secretary of the Independent Policing Union of South Africa. Thank you so much for your time, Mpho. It's a very worrying picture because it's almost as though 10111 is the centre of where it all starts, where people in distress and people in desperate need of help call to get the help. But if their calls are going unanswered, who do you call? How do you get the help? Maybe just paint us a picture of how dire the situation actually is.
Good evening to you and to your viewers at home. The 10111 Centre provide the first responders or the public with the services of first responders to the cases which they are reporting to SAPS. The 10111 Centre is part of the VISPOL unit within the South African Police Service. The 10111 provide an additional support to client service centres which are accessible to all South Africans within their area of residence. If they don't get through to 10111 centres, then they have got a problem, because you will agree with me that publicly the Minister of Police have indicated to South Africans during his imbizos that South Africans are worried about the visibility of the South African Police Service. And he also attributed to that as the shortages of manpower and shortages of vehicles. That problem, which we have seen panning out into police stations like Eldorado Park, communities complaining about visibility of the police, it is reflecting now to 10111 Centre. It is very dire, and it needs to be resolved as soon as possible.
I want us to speak about how many people we are looking at. When you say staff shortages, are we looking at hundreds? Are we looking at thousands? And perhaps which provinces or areas are in most need of this?
The staff complements of the 10111 centres throughout the country should be at 3,000. That is the given number in terms of the resource allocation guide. They are currently sitting at 1,300. For the services to be rendered to South Africans without having to put more pressure on the current staff, which is sitting at 40%, you will need plus minus 500. Then we broke down the numbers as IPUSA. We said from the translation which took place in 2019, in terms of Agreement 1 of 2019, there are only few members who were translated, but we have got plus minus 300 of them who were not translated. And these people were already given an intensive course in 10111. Now, if you were to go for those members who are not allowed for translation into that environment, and those people are denied because of the tattoos, then we are saying, as an independent policing union of South Africa, why don't we then start categorizing the issues of tattoos? Because a tattoo that depicts a certain group of people which terrorizes communities, that tattoo, indeed, members who are carrying it cannot be allowed to serve. But if members are carrying a tattoo of their loved ones, what is wrong with them having that kind of a tattoo? The other resolution to that, it could be you allow them, but are not allowed to wear short sleeves, but they have to wear long sleeves. And then you can have the numbers being mitigated up until you reach a number above 50%. And then that will be able to allow the 10111 centres to tolerate the environment. Currently, the environment is intolerable. They are working under pressure. They are overwhelmingly, facing a huge number of calls. Gauteng alone 5,000 calls per day, Western Cape about 4,000, KZN about 2,000. I'm just giving you the numbers because of the station's capacity as well, and yeah, the hugeness. What is the big stations which I've just indicated to you.
What is the way forward, Mpho? What is your plan going forward as the Independent Policing Union of South Africa? Have you engaged with the minister? Have you expressed your concerns that the situation is dire and it has serious ramifications? Because if 10,111 is short-staffed, it's going to affect everything else. And we constantly hear how people call 10,111, their calls go unanswered, people are in complete panic and distress. Does the minister know what's your plan going forward?
We have engaged the minister, and we are continuing to do that. We have been talking to General Masemola. I think he's new in this. You will see that this problem is coming from 2019, 2020, 2020, 2021, because of we did not have an intake during those periods. And I think with the current numbers which we're having, we only received 9,300 or 700 members could not make it for various reasons. We are saying maybe out of the 4,000, which is allocated to the public order policing, I know what I'm going to say, it might not sound good, but without 10,111 center, without client service center, without members on the ground, without vehicles on the ground, policing is dead. So to resuscitate this, we will need at least 300 to 400 numbers from the 4,000 which we have given or allocated to public order policing. And those members, immediately, they should be taken in for a course so that they can come back and serve South Africans. And the other thing that we did, we referred the dispute in terms of the application of Resolution 1 of 2019. We want the management to have a relook at the issues of the tattoos. Members who are having tattoos, members who have decided to leave the service because of the translation which completely went wrong. There are people who are translated, but they have got different years of service. They have lost their services. They just took them and dumped them into one rank. We want to negotiate that with the employer and see if we cannot mitigate the numbers which are needed. That's what is happening now.
Certainly. I think there definitely needs to be some kind of discussion, but also implementation. Thank you so much for your time. That was Mpho Kwinika, who's from the Independent Policing Union of South Africa.